That's right, folks. It's another episode of the Sunday Live Start Sit Show on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. I'm your host, Bobby LaMarco, and we're here to break down your start sit questions for Week 13. We have just a couple weeks until the fantasy playoffs. We're going to be here all season long through the playoffs to help you with your start sits. And we're going to be breaking down other things, too, on the show today, whether it comes to weather reports, injury updates. We're also going to be breaking down our starts of the week on today's show. So not only are we going to be breaking down your questions, but we're going to be breaking down our brand new tools over on Razzball.com. So before we do, let's bring on our co-host for today's show. Let's start it up right now. All right, number one in our hearts, obviously, the man who just stormed the castle and has become a mainstay for the Razzball Fantasy Sunday Live Start Sit Show. It's Matthew Styles, and I went formal today. You called me Robert in the pre-show, and I figured let's go Matthew as well. It's Matthew Styles. You can find him at Styles08 on Twitter. What's going on, Matt?
Not much. In fact, I'm going to change from Robert. If you give me some latitude here, I'm going to go with Hangover Bob today.
Yeah, well, I am just feeling it this morning, so I am going to sip on some drinks until I feel – you'll probably see either two things happen. Either around 8:30, I'm starting to get real vibrant, or I will just fade off into the distance. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to sip on this White Russian coffee and see how it goes. But, no, Matt, so what are you looking forward to most of Week 13? What do you got?
Well, you know me, right? A Packers homer. I need Aaron Rodgers to prove once again that he still owns the Bears. And with there, we're gonna get into it a little bit when we start talking about your product that you put out, the slot versus wide. So I've got a somewhat of a gut play, but also somewhat based on your information. So I'm looking forward to the Packers. Again, we're not going to make the playoffs, but you can't lose to the Bears. It would be a double loss season. From there, we've got some other interesting matchups, and then we have some talking to do about how folks are going to set up their lineups to get once the playoffs start, right? Some start in 14, some start in 15. So we've got some discussions on how do you not only get through this current week, make the playoffs, but how do you set your roster to be ready once the playoffs kick off?
Yeah, we had a couple interesting episodes. Me and Sky did a handcuffs preview where we talked about running backs, tight ends, and wide receiver handcuffs to basically stash. I think at this point, if you have those fringe players like the Brandon Cooks, as much as I love Brandon Cooks preseason, at this point, does it even make sense to roster a player like him? You might as well handcuff your studs because you're most likely will start those handcuffs. So, we did also a show yesterday with the man I'm about to bring on the show right now. You got Derek Favorite. You can follow him at Favorite on Twitter. Yesterday, me and Derek did an episode about playoff slot versus wide matchups. By the way, go check those out, by the way. We broke down the best playoff matchups for out wide receivers and slot receivers. Derek, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. Good to see you again, Bobby. Good to see you again, man. It's been a while since the three of us have been on here together.
I know it's kind of we haven't really had the quad. Sky's out, and of course Sky's not here. He's showing up late. He's gonna get a ding on his record there, but unfortunately, we're gonna have a nice quad box right around 8:30 when Sky joins. But Derek, what are you looking forward to most this weekend? Anything on the docket for you?
Yeah, just like Matt said, we're getting ready for the fantasy playoffs, and there are a number of new opportunities out there. We're going to see some new running backs that they're going to get a chance to play. We're going to see some wide receivers coming on. These guys may have some say in how the fantasy playoffs go for us. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah.
In fact, Derek and I were having a very conversation about the three-headed monster backfield for the Jets. We have two of the three. Because we were smart enough to stash them. And now it comes down to watching the news. Is Carter going to play? Is James Robinson going to be active or inactive? Is Robert Saleh telling the truth? Right? We shall see. And by the way, we have a very important decision because we have one Jameson Williams ready to come off the IR. And we can't do anything else with our Yahoo roster until we do something with him. So a lot of info that we're waiting on right now.
Yeah, Carter's out today, so there's your early preview. So Carter looks doubtful. He's probably not going to – he's already been basically ruled out. Yeah, I think Knight is probably the guy you're probably leaning to. We talked about this last week on the show. with James Robinson. This is the second team now to essentially say something's going on with his knee. I don't think he's healthy. They basically made him a healthy scratch last week in favor of this kid who, by the way, every dynasty league in the world could have gotten. No one had a clue who Knight was prior to the game last week. So if any dynasty owners got a hand on him, he's probably someone to handcuff Breece Hall with at some point. I don't even know. But, yeah, I think the good news for Carter, we'll break down all the injuries in just a second. We do have a couple questions already. Lynn Dorfin's coming in hot. I love you, man. Honestly, appreciate you coming in early. We, mainstays. And a shout out to all our mainstay, Razzball, Sunday Live, Start Sit Show regulars. We love you guys. Honestly, Lindorphins, appreciate you. Appreciate you staying with me even after I butchered your name just a couple weeks ago. And that's what we love about your dedication to the podcast. All right, so we have a DST question. Now, on our shows the last few days, we haven't really talked about defenses for the playoffs. If you're a team that's already in, if you locked up your playoff spot, this is a very good strategy. This is the time, probably even before the games kick off today, you might want to stash a second defense instead of those fringe wide receiver 4/5s on your roster. So we have a DST question. How would you rate these DSTs for the playoffs? And I think it's important we look at the schedules too. But he has New England, but may add one of the playoff matchups. So he has New England at the Raiders, Cincinnati versus Cincinnati and Miami. Then he has the Cardinals DST against Denver, Tampa Bay, and Atlanta. And then you have the Chargers DST with the Titans, Indianapolis Colts, and the Raiders and the Rams. So I guess really for your guys' thought process here, based on any of your research you've done over the last few weeks, let's kick it over to you, Matt, first. Any DSTs stand out that have maybe DSTs that are not widely owned that could be solid pickups, or would you take one of these guys, either looks like the Cardinals or the Chargers DST?
I don't know that I'm a fan of either defense on paper, but by looking at the matchups, probably Arizona. Atlanta really doesn't do much. And Denver, I think, has scored over 21 points or 21 or more in one game this season. So, but I'm also a fan of just trying to be safe and get your 4 or 5 points versus taking negative. And you can't really play for a kickoff return or a pick six or a scoop and score or whatnot. But I would probably stream week by week. And the cool thing would be is if the Jets were available. They've got an absolute smash schedule down the stretch. But none of those really set my heart aflutter. But probably based on what he's saying would be the Cardinals for me.
What about you, Derek?
Yeah, for me, so I'm wondering, are you looking to replace the Patriots or are you looking to add to, like Bobby said? I'm a fan at this point, like you said, I don't carry 2 defenses all year, but when it comes to the playoffs, if there's some pinpoint matchups, like if you're looking at a certain defense that's available in week 16, for instance, but you've got a better matchup week 15, I'm okay with rostering 2. If you've got the room on your roster to do so, like you said, if you're holding on to someone to see if they're going to come up for the playoffs, it might be time to cut them and add a second defense. So I don't think I would replace either of these for the Patriots. I see why you have that question. That is a pretty tough schedule for the Patriots defense, but I would hold on to them. And if these are your 2 best options, then I disagree with Matt. I think the Chargers might give you a better matchup, especially I'm looking at that week 17 against the Rams. The Rams are just toast, complete toast. And, if you can make it to your championship game and you have a defense that matches up with the Rams, then you've got to be loving that. So, I might just roster the Chargers defense just to hold them till week 17, frankly. In this situation, but yeah, if you've got some other options, look at them. Look at your options. Look at the projections for those weeks, and consider adding a second one to the Patriots. But I definitely wouldn't cut the Patriots.
So maybe I'm the one that's hungover. I didn't even pay attention.
That's still me. That's still
but
me.
Still you. I didn't really even pay attention to that middle matchup for the Chargers. Right? What player leads the NFL in turnovers?
Matt Ryan.
And add to that the additional fumbles that he's The Colts have found a way to recover, plus the amount of sacks that he takes. Right, he's back there like just a statue. So yeah, maybe Derek has convinced me that the Chargers are a better ad than the Cardinals. And I'm with you. I'm not dropping the Patriots at this point either.
I think so. Next week, so I've been trying to figure out ways to like get unique shows out for us, and I think next Friday, maybe we'll do a show on duo defenses for the playoffs, because it's really there's very few defenses that you can rely on 3 straight weeks. It's just it's not really likely. So it's maybe pairing 2 defenses that aren't necessarily widely owned. I mean, obviously like the 49ers defense, the Eagles, you have those elite fantasy defenses that you're probably going to just say, and this is the thing, right? So I have the Eagles defenses in a lot of leagues. Over the last month, they've gotten like 6 points. Like, that's fine. When you have a defense, it's not going to win you or lose you your week necessarily, but they're not, when you have a tough matchup, even for a really good defense, they're probably going to get you an average score. So the question comes, like, if I'm an underdog, if I'm playing the top team in the league, I might need that boom week. I might need that big time. I might want to face a Matt Ryan. Even like the good example of this is like the Vikings defense play against the Colts, I believe, in week 15, the first round of the playoffs. And my thought process there is that, like, the Vikings defense isn't necessarily a great defense, but the thing they can do is get after the quarterback. You have Matt Ryan, who's exposed. And by the way, if they could stop the run enough against Jonathan Taylor, that's a defense that could really have a big week. I think the biggest thing for me, though, is like I think that's what we got to do next week. I think next week we'll probably have an episode, maybe Friday, and talk about this. But I think you have to pair 2 defenses. The Patriots, by the way, the Raiders in week 15 is probably fine. But then look at the matchups after that. Like, he just broke them down. I mean, I'm not going to want to play them against Cincinnati and Miami. Like, are you guys, like, with the season on the line, would you really want to play the Patriots defense against Joe Burrow and Tua? Like, seriously, would you guys, either one of you, would you guys feel comfortable starting the Patriots in week 16 and 17? Sorry.
Nope.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So then this really comes down to, it's like, so the Chargers, you might be able to get away with against the Raiders, maybe. But the way Josh Jacobs is running the football, Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, I mean, would you guys even feel comfortable starting the Patriots in that game against the Raiders?
I do, because it seems like the Patriots surprise you when you think they didn't play well this week. Now there's all the turmoil in the press, right? Is it Mac Jones? Is it Bill Belichick? Is it Patricia? Is it whoever the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th offensive coordinator is in New England? I just think that, they pick 6 Aaron Rodgers. Nobody does that. They return a punt with 13 seconds left to win a game. So they seem to pop when you don't, when you have no clue that they're going to pop. I would play them against the Raiders, and then I probably at that point dump them for the Chargers, because I don't frankly want to play the Chargers against Tennessee.
I think the answer is the Chargers, right? I think the Chargers-Patriots duos are really going, because you have the Indianapolis Colts and then the Rams, who just put Matthew Stafford on IR, and no Allen Robinson. Cooper Kupp ain't coming back. I think that's your play. I think basically we've talked through this, and it sounds like the best bet for the Endorphins is pick up that Chargers DST, stash them, play the Patriots week 15, and then you play the Chargers in week 16 and 17. So we all agree with that? All right,
definitely.
Love it. All right.
And you didn't dry heave, you didn't throw up. There, I don't even see sweat on your brow. That one down. You're moving in the right direction.
I'm actually going to drink one more of these puppies. They're pretty good right now, folks. A little coffee, White Russian mix. And by the way, I think it's politically incorrect now to say White Russian. It might be White Ukrainian. I don't even know anymore. But whatever that is, that's what I'm drinking today.
So you're drinking an Anglo-Eastern European is what you're having.
Oh, is that what we're calling these days? All right, let's do it. All right, Lindorphins. We got another one here. Half PPR. He's got 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. That's the starting lineup. And by Lindor, you can tell who's the established veterans to the show. He tells us the format, tells us his starting lineup, and then we go into the question. God, Lindorphins, you're handsome. I love it, baby. I love it. Or I'm pretty sure. I mean, the pink lettering might throw me off. You might be a female, and I apologize if you are. I'm pretty sure you're a guy. But anyway, because I'm 99.9% of Razzball people who watch our show are men. But anyway, let's just move on. Has K. Will at RB1. K Will. Who's K Will?
Kenneth Walker.
Ken
Ken Walker the third. I thought K Will. Wow, you can tell I'm not feeling it today.
And we've taken 2 steps forward to take 1 step back.
Yes. So now I'm sweating. All right. So Mixon is to be determined. Mixon sounds doubtful today, by the way. He is not clear concussion protocol. Everything I've heard so far, we'll break it down in a little bit, but it sounds pretty doubtful there as well. He has Godwin at wide receiver 1. If Mixon can't go, who are my RB2s? I think P. Ryan is a lock, in my opinion. If Mixon doesn't go, I think this is a pretty easy question. In my opinion, I'm probably just popping in P. Ryan in that matchup. Kansas City Chiefs are very vulnerable to pass-catching running backs, and that's P. Ryan's specialty. Now you add in the fact that he's going to get the start, I'm probably in on P. Ryan. But let's talk about who are my RB2, wide receiver 2, and flex. He's got P. Ryan, Rashad White. Leonard Fournette should play today. You got DeAndre Swift splitting work with Jamal Williams. His wide receivers are Deontay Johnson, Curtis Samuel, and Treylon Burks. Derek, let's kick it on to you first, man. What you got?
Yeah, I agree with P. Ryan in that decision for the RB2. That's an easy call. Swift is. I noticed Swift is off the injured list today. They've got a ton of weapons there. In fact, we'll probably be talking about them later on today. But they've got all their playmakers back. I like Swift as a flex because I think he's going to be a home run hitter. I may get disagreement from my colleague up there in the bald-headed colleague, but yeah, I'm going Swift. And then for wide receiver 2, this is a tough one for me. I'm definitely not taking Treylon against the Eagles. That's just not a good matchup. I really don't care for Deontay, but I think he's got the better matchup than Samuel does. As the slot receiver versus the Giants. So P. Ryan, Swift, and Deontay are my 3 picks here.
So I told Derek about 3 weeks ago we should trade for Chris Godwin, and we tried and we could not find a match, but he's going to absolutely rip through the rest of the season because they're not going to really run the ball. Brady's going to throw it 45 to 50 times. So I love the fact that he's got Kenneth Walker and that he's got Godwin. I think those are really great cornerstones to the start of that lineup that he's got. For me, I go P. Ryan, exactly why Bob said. I would really love to start Rashad White because of what I saw with my eyes while in Tampa watching on the TV last week. But you can't trust them to not give the ball to Leonard Fournette if he's back and playing. So I'm with P. Ryan for sure. I have an unhealthy fantasy man crush on let me say this the right way, fantasy football man crush on Deontay Johnson. So he's easy pick for me there, especially with Treylon against the Eagles and Curtis Samuel half disappearing from the landscape of fantasy football over the last few weeks. And if you don't believe me, go look at my Razzball team where he's not even sniffing the lineup. And then I think, as crazy as it sounds, you have to put Swift at flex. I just don't know if you can trust him. Some of the things we've seen from that coaching staff and DeAndre Swift's lack of usage is just, it floors me. I don't understand it. And in fact, when he scored, did he score last week, right? He had a touchdown. He had a short rushing touchdown. And I legitimately turned to somebody next to me at the bar we were at. And I said, hey, who was that? It's been so long since we've seen him that I thought I probably need to reevaluate my fantasy football skills. I had no idea that was DeAndre Swift. So all of that to say, I agree with Derek.
Yeah, I'm going to go. So here's the problem I have with DeAndre Swift is that not only is it Jamal Williams getting most of the touches, but they also are putting Justin Jackson in the game. Like, that's what blows my mind the most. It's like, how limited is with Swift that not only do you give majority of the work to Jamal Williams, but then you also have, Justin Jackson getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches every week. It blows my mind. DeAndre Swift, by the way, is my biggest fantasy bust of the year. I was so high on him. I had him at like top 6 player in fantasy pre-draft. He just killed me. But this week, I think this is really easy. Mixon's out. I'm going P. Ryan, Swift, and Deontay. I think it's a very slam dunk for us as well. I agree across the board. And listen, at this point, Derek and Matt have really just climbed their way into my heart. And when they speak and they say things, when they sound good, I'm all in. So I'm in with the boys this week, and I love those picks. But at the same time, I just like the Lions are now like, here's the thing that drives me crazy. The Lions are now kind of in it now. They're like kind of, it's like, okay, they won a bunch of games and now they're a fringe playoff team. There's no excuse anymore to sit Swift. Like now you need to win games. So we'll see. I think this might be the week maybe Swift gets more work because now they're kind of like entrenched as a fringe playoff team. So hopefully that is the case there.
You know what the Lions are? The Lions are, remember back to junior year in high school, right? Your girlfriend breaks up with you right before the prom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But a military family.
Matt's bringing up some shit right now.
But a military family comes into the neighborhood, right? Or into the school district. And the new hot chick at the school rolls in. Nobody knows her. She happens to be placed right next to you in chemistry. She's the Lions.
And then next thing you know, you have chemistry, right? I mean, like in chemistry, you have chemistry. Matt's telling Matt's giving hope to some teenage boys out there that there's gonna be some exchange student or some shit coming in to save their high school career. I love it. Matt, appreciate it.
Hold on,
Brian,
I'm gonna need him.
Brian, whatever her name was, Suzanne, we love you and miss you, sweetheart.
It was Rachel, but that's all right.
Brian, hello to you, sir, man. Honestly, great to see you, man. Always on. Brian, God bless you. Good to have you back on. Brian's got a question for us. Speaking of Michael Carter being out this week, we have Zonovan, by the way, Knight, Josh Palmer, and Garrett Wilson. You got to pick two. Let's kick it over to you, Matt. What do you got?
So I'm looking right now. What I really want to hear is I want to hear something before the game, and I don't think we will. I want to really know what the role for James Robinson is. And right now, I don't think we have it. I don't think we're going to get it. And Robert Saleh said it's going to be a three-headed backfield, which means today, with Michael Carter out, it's going to be a two-headed backfield. And I'm not sure I really love that. But depending on what Brian, what else he has to start, which my guess is he's already got those decisions already made. For me, Josh Palmer is a no-brainer. And as much as I want to take Garrett Wilson, I would probably err on the side of volume with Zonovan Knight. But it's so close for me. I think Palmer's a smash, even half-point PPR. But the other two are very, very close. But I'm going to err on the side of more guaranteed touches from a running back.
Go ahead, Derek.
So I'm gonna give Gladys some props from last week. For those who tuned in last week, she was all over Ty Johnson before Ty Johnson was a thing. And so he's gonna be in that backfield with Knight and perhaps Robinson as well. So I have to stay away from that Jets backfield honestly today until you get some semblance of what they're doing. Again, I agree with Matt. Palmer is a no-brainer, and I'm okay with Wilson today. There's some potential. Mike White in that backfield, the quarterback for the Jets. He's either boom or bust. But they've got a pretty nice matchup with the Vikings today, where they're going to be asked to throw the ball, and so I'll take my chances with Wilson. There's just so much uncertainty around the Jets running backs that I can't in good conscience recommend any of them until we see some semblance of what that's going to look like.
Well, and here's the deal, right? My waiver article was all Jets, and I completely forgot about Ty Johnson. So 2 for 2 today. I change, and I'm with Derek. Garrett Wilson and Palmer. And by the way, we love Brett Favre light. Taylor Heineke, Mike White, we love those guys. I don't care how many interceptions they throw, just keep throwing the football. And they're going to have to throw to stay with Minnesota.
Yeah, so the Vikings' run defense is pretty solid. They're actually one of the most pass funnel defenses in football. So when you're looking at how to beat the Vikings, you want to throw the football. And I don't think Zonovan Knight is going to be the pass catching back. I think that'll be probably Ty Johnson. So I'm actually going to listen, Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson is just, okay. I have him as my player prop player of the week. I have him as my DFS. I have him in DFS. So he's going to bomb pretty bad, but So, like all the numbers, I'm telling you right now, like I am fully invested in Garrett Wilson this week. Garrett Wilson is probably my start of the week. He is the guy that I really like. I have money on him through the wazoo right now, more than I should probably even tell you. So I'm all in. But just be knowing that I am the most unlucky person in the world. He'll probably not do well, but it's Garrett Wilson based on paper, and then Josh Palmer. So the Raiders, I think that Raiders game is going to be fun. I would hope so, right? The problem with the Chargers, they're going to be down 3 starting offensive linemen this week. That's going to be a problem for Justin Herbert. But I do believe that Justin Herbert with no Mike Williams, I do believe that now Nate Hobbs is back. And DT and me had a conversation about this like week 5. Nate Hobbs was like a stud corner for the Raiders, and he got hurt like 4 or 5 weeks ago. He's back this week, and he shut down Mike Williams earlier this year. Does that bode well for Josh Palmer? Probably not. But based on the numbers, I'm going to go Palmer and Garrett Wilson. It's a very long-winded answer here, but I think the Knight situation was nice last week, but I just think it's going to be a 3-headed monster with James Robinson as an active player. And like we said, take the known. Like, we don't know what that Jets backfield is going to be. I think Derek and Matt put it perfectly. Like, we honestly have no idea. Like, it sounded good, but James Robinson was a healthy and active. And as soon as Michael Carter went down last week, it was 2 people. Well, now I guarantee you Robinson will get touches this week, so it's going to be a 3-headed backfield against a tough run game against Minnesota. I agree. All right.
Read down 2 comments. He's also got Jamar Chase.
Yeah, well, I'm playing Chase. I'm not gonna listen. I'll tell you right now, you're not sitting Chase. Like if he bombs this week, it is what it is. Like doesn't matter. You're not risking it. Based on what I'm hearing too, there's a lot of noise that he's probably not going to be limited. So if you just can't sit Chase. Sorry, folks.
Yep,
I know it's tough, but it is.
Chase and Palmer. That's easy for me. Chase and Palmer over Palmer and Wilson. If he's got Chase, you start him. You have to.
I'm going Wilson and Chase, 100%. Derek?
Yeah, Wilson and Chase for me, yeah.
That's my boy, honestly, because Derek, listen, as soon as I lose my money this weekend, I'm calling you, though. We're going to give you a quick call, a little bit of anger. It is what it is.
Bobby, don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. You were what, top 10 most accurate picker last week?
I was top 10 last week. It was a good week for me. Honestly, it was. But let's not get too excited yet. Let me try to back it up because I feel like I might be like 85th this week. So let's just do 2 in a row. All right, Isaac. Isaac, welcome back, buddy. Honestly, we appreciate it as always. Kicker question. God damn it, I love it. By the way, my kicker of the week is Jason Myers. And it's Myers, not Jacoby Myers spelling young Isaac. But my kicker of the week is Jason Myers, so I'm going with him in this one. But do you guys have a preference on kicker? Let's go to you, Matt, first.
Well, I'm going to tell you that Derek will refuse to answer the question. He does not discuss kickers. So for me, it's going to be Myers, and for Derek, it's going to be Myers.
Yeah, nice. Matt speaks the truth. If we ever have a kicker question on our team, I just defer. I don't care. But if in the spirit of the show, I'm here to give some knowledge. So I'm going to go Myers as well. Easy choice.
I'll tell you this too with the Rams. So when it comes to the Rams defense, I know they're not going to have Aaron Donald. They're missing 3 defensive linemen this week. We're all talking about Kenneth Walker. But when you get to the red zone, you still have Jalen Ramsey. They still are a very good coached team. The Rams are going to be the most annoying team all season long because I guarantee you, because they have no Matthew Stafford, they're going to be in 17-14, 20-14 games. It's not going to be fun for fantasy football. I guarantee you it's going to be a good game for Jason Myers and they stall in the red zone. I'm telling you that right. That's my call.
But you know what? Let me say this. I bet you the guy that Derek loves is also available in that league.
Who? Who do you love?
You're talking about Chargers?
Yep.
Yeah, Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the kicker has not missed yet.
So Derek's going Dicker the kicker. I'm going Jason Myers. All right, Lindorfin's back again. Thank you guys. Been riding. So this is kind of the thing, right? So riding New England all season long, but scared off by the 16 and 17, like you said. These are the best options so far as matchups in those 2 weeks. I think Lindorf I think you got the Patriots and Chargers combo is going to be a good one. I think you're going to be good. When you come back, we're going to come back week 17. When you're in the championship week, you're going to come on the show and you're going to say, guys, week 16, the Chargers DST did me real good. We love you. And honestly, next thing you know, we're going to have to send you some Razzball swag. Honestly, when you get to that championship, you let us know. All right, Mark, honestly, this is a name I don't recognize. Mark, welcome to the show. Mark De Silva. Happy football day. He's got a full PPR question. Pittman and Pierce. Derek, kicking it down to you. These are two really good options. What's your thoughts here? I'm going to assume it's Damian Pierce, correct? Mark, just throw a comment. I'm assuming it's the Houston Texans running back, not Alex Pierce. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, this is a great question. Both Pittman's coming back, kind of showing some life these last few weeks. And I like him, although, Dallas is pretty tough defense. Pierce has done virtually nothing over the past few weeks, but he's got a really favorable matchup. And ironically, Matt and I were talking about him earlier today as well. And on one of our teams that we're considering, we're looking for a flex play, and I believe we're going to pick Pierce. Between the two, I'm gonna go Pierce here. I just think it's, even though don't look back, look forward. He is frankly the best player probably on that offense. They just need to give it to him and let him run like he used to. Pittman, Dallas is playing tough. They're at home. They're playing for the playoffs. I just think if they're going to shut anyone down, they're going to shut Pittman down. So Pierce is the better play for me here today, despite the recent numbers.
Matthew?
Yeah. So in our league, we start them both because we don't have better options. But the Pittman versus Diggs versus Micah Parsons versus that Dallas defense at home scares me. But he is theoretically, right, Derek? He's our wide receiver one, so he starts. Our decision comes in with Pittman or Pierce and a couple other guys. The Browns, I think, are going to run all day. I think it's going to be a Nick Chubb day. However, Houston's going to have to counter that by slowing the game down, plotting and prodding, and the Cleveland middle front is not good against the run. Davis Mills is not going to win the game throwing, and Cleveland's middle front is soft. So I think that instead of edge rushes, it's going to be Pierce up the middle, and he's going to probably have. My gut tells me he's going to have 23 to 26 touches today, and it won't be for 9 yards like it. Whoa, my goodness! Look at this.
Sky Gawasko's on the show. Sky, listen, man. He showed. Listen, me and Sky we got after it this morning. He shows up late. I reprimanded him. It was a wild conversation this morning. Honestly, but now in hindsight, just seeing your face makes me just realize how much I missed you. And I'm glad you're on the show. Sky Gawasko, you ready for this question? You going to answer Michael Pittman versus Damian Pierce?
Full PPR, huh? Damian Pierce has been terrible the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to agree with Matt. Let's go Damian Pierce. I'm just trying to work through these fines here, Bob. It's been a bit rough. Finding a guy during holiday season. I can't believe you have it in your heart, but it is what it is. I understand. I get it. I know the rules.
No, listen, and I can't.
It just is what it is.
Sky, me and you both know that you're near and dear to my heart. Listen, Matt and Derek are coming on strong, but you're like the guy. Me and you have been together for years. I love you. I can't show favoritism to you though.
I understand.
Listen, next thing you know, like Derek and Matt are they're performing a coup because I didn't find you for showing up late, and I can't have that.
Well, you got to set an example. I saw an interview this weekend that Patrick Mahomes showed up late to the facility one day, and he was fined big time. I mean, the best get fined too. I get it. Sorry about that, folks.
Basically, you're the Patrick Mahomes of our.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Or am I the Jordan Love? I mean, that's really the question right now. Is like, am I Mahomes, or Jordan Love, but I get it. Let's rock on. Sorry, folks. Good morning.
I'll give you you're the Jimmy Garoppolo of the show. How about that?
No, don't get me started on Elvis Gerback. I'll take Elvis Gerback.
All right.
Well, Joe Montana with the Chiefs.
Fair enough. Playoffs.
So I'm going to take control back to this. Dameon Pierce is probably, so I ran the numbers and it's like he should be the start of the week. Like it's like Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, and then it's Dameon Pierce. Like that's basically what the numbers tell us. Dameon Pierce is probably the guy if he can't do it against Cleveland, then he hit the rookie wall. The Texas offense is a disaster. It's over. The last 2 weeks, we actually faded Dameon Pierce. On this show, we faded him completely because of the matchups. Well, it's the opposite. If you have Dameon Pierce, you start Dameon Pierce. This is the barometer, though. If he doesn't put up a decent performance this week, we know that he hit the rookie wall, the Texans offense is done, and you don't start him the rest of the year. Because if you can't do it against Cleveland, you're never going to know when to start the kid. So I'm going Dameon Pierce slightly ahead of Michael Pittman. Mark, we love you. And by the way, Mark cleared the air for the world, and he did say it was Dameon Pierce. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you for clearing that up for us. All right. Sky, I'm going to let you get a little more questions in before you take over. I just want you to get into the mood here. But we're going to go to you first. By the way, Granville, Houston, honestly, man, this is like the only guy who actually like cares about me on Twitter. I appreciate you. This guy, I'm not joking. Like no one follows me on Twitter. No one cares. I literally tweet 1,000 tweets. I put all the tweets out. Actually, that's not true. Matt does as well. Matt, you're actually one of my favorites as well on Twitter. Scott doesn't even bother. And Derek, you two need to step it up. I want some.
I didn't know you were on Twitter. That's my bad.
That is exactly. It's my fault. It's at Bobby Lamarco on Twitter. But Granville is like one of the very few guys that actually likes my tweets. I appreciate you, bro. I see you, Granville. I love you, man. All right. Which RB is your sit? This is a sit question, folks. It looks like we're starting two and flexing one. And so sit one of these running backs. Gus Edwards, Latavius Murray, Kyron Williams, and Dameon Pierce. Sky Gawaska, fresh to the show. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't really love any of these guys, to be honest with you. I know, not a good start. It's okay. Working through it here. We just convinced ourselves we're going to start Dameon Pierce. I am on the fence about Kyron Williams, and I think he's probably my sit here, although I'm actually starting him in a league because I have to. But Latavius Murray is going to get work while he's healthy and in there. Baltimore and Denver play each other. And we know Gus Edwards is going to rumble in for a touchdown most likely. So I'll start Gus and Pierce for sure. And in half PPR, I hate to say trust the offense, but somehow I believe the Broncos a bit more than the Rams right now. They're both train wrecks, but I'll go with Edwards, Latavius, and Pierce.
Matthew, over to you.
I'm the same. I think Kyron Williams is your dynasty guy, right? You plug and play him in a year, or in the next season.
In 2023, you're going to play Kyron Williams.
Yeah. But I will tell you this, right? Derek and I own Pierce. We're going to start him, so Pierce is one of them. But I'm struggling in Razzball with the exact question of Edwards versus Murray. Right? I've got a whole bunch of guys on IR, but I have a handful of running backs that I can choose from to start. I'm leaning Latavius. Well, right now I'm looking at my lineup. Gus Edwards is in my lineup. However, he's playing the much better defense in Denver. Latavius Murray is 104 years old and playing against a solid but not as good as Denver defense. So I'm going to pass on the question, and I'm going to take the advice of the guys here, and I will go with whatever you all say to Granville is probably how I will adjust my lineup as well.
Derek.
Sky jumps on, and 5 minutes later, he gives us the quote of the year by saying he trusts the Broncos offense more than the Rams offense.
That's what you're welcome, right? I mean, that's what I'm here to do.
And the thing is, I totally agree with you too.
Oh man,
I am sitting Williams here. I'm going Edwards, Murray, and Pierce for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you something right now. In my numbers, my metrics that I put together, Murray, Pierce, and Edwards are in my top 24. They're all starters. Like, I all love them. So this is easy for me. Kyron Williams is not even close. I think you're actually good this week with Edwards, Damian Pierce, and Latavius Murray. I think all three of them are going to give you legit numbers. I think you're starting all of them. I think it's going to be solid. The J.K. Dobbins was not activated. He's not going to play today, so you don't have to worry about that whole situation with Gus Edwards yet. So I'm all in on those three too. Gradeville, we got you, bro. You're going to do well this week. You're making the fantasy playoffs. We love you to death.
So
all right, Brian.
What about me? Are you starting Gus or Latavius? You can only start one. Or would you start both of them and sit Paris Campbell?
I'm playing Gus.
Yeah. Do you start Latavius over Paris Campbell in a flex?
Half?
Full.
Full? Man. I have a rule to not start Paris Campbell, but I don't believe in Michael Pittman, and I know I came late on that, but I'll go with Paris Campbell over Latavius.
You don't believe in Michael Pittman?
Yeah, you heard me.
That doesn't make any sense. He was the only guy who played well last week.
He said, yeah.
Well, he had 11. Is having 11 targets playing well? I mean, you guys just did this. I don't want to go backtrack here, but
what are you talking about? Volume is king. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't give a shit how he gets his production. If he gets 11 targets, it means that the team believes in him. I think against Dallas. Dallas is a slot funnel defense, technically, but I'm still going to go Latavius Murray over Paris Campbell.
All right, Derek, settle the bet.
Yeah, well, I just gave Sky props for that quote, but I don't know. That other one, not trusting.
I heard the episode. I know what I'm walking into right now. I heard the episode.
Yeah. No, he was my as Sky's referring to, he's my wideout, top 5 wideout for the fantasy playoffs. So, I just gave you props, and now I got to retract it. I hate to do that, but
the Dallas defense is 10 times better than Pittsburgh, and I'm worried about it. If he doesn't get that late touchdown, I just think it's a big issue. And yes, 11 targets is fun, but
hey, Mrs. Claus, did you see her? She just came down the chimney.
Good morning, Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, Bobby, throw Sky another fine for that. Just by the way. Yeah,
bring it, man.
That wasn't.
No, it's fine. My kids aren't getting presents at this point anyway, so just go ahead.
I've been sitting with Sky for years, and he's been slandering Josh Jacobs so much that he can't even. After Josh Jacobs blows up last week, watching him on today's show, he
finally 5 years later.
It was on our show this week at the handcuff show. He's like, I can't believe Josh Jacobs is kind of good. it took like 2.5 years, but God bless him. He concedes late. He's a late conceder on those, but that's all right.
Let's see if Sky can recoup. Right? Don't look at any stats. Don't look at your phone. None of the spreadsheets you have open. You and Bobby right now for the win. Over under on current receiving touchdowns for Michael Pittman. The number is 3.5. Over under.
Under for sure. I think he has 2.
Yeah, I don't even remember the last time he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he scored this week. He scored this week and week 1. I'm pretty sure that's it.
All right. Exactly. We're moving on. I'm taking
What's the answer?
Back to the show. Everyone, it's under, right? 2. Yeah, Sky gets
get
it.
Out of here. Get out of here.
Sky gets things. Brian, all right, we got Joe Burrow versus Justin Fields this week. We got Brian with another question here. Brian, we appreciate you always, brother. Justin Fields playing against your Packers there, Matthew. And then you got Joe Burrow as well. What's your thoughts, Matt? Let's go to you first. You can take Justin Fields against those Packers or Joe Burrow?
So right? It's never Justin Fields for me.
What? Dude, you guys are really killing me this week. I love you all to death.
I love this.
Justin Fields is an absolute monster. He's an absolute. He's my.
Whoa! Hey! He asked his opinion. The man said never Fields.
True. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Gotta be polite here.
Opinion. Yeah,
you're right. Holiday season.
You should find yourself for being rude.
You're right. You're right. You know what? You're right. I've been docked.
God, what have you guys been doing while I've been gone? I'm 20 minutes late and the show's just off the rails.
You don't even have a watch on.
Folks.
Did you just fake watch?
I did.
Fake it? You faked it? What is going on? You don't even have a watch on. Anyway,
it's usually there,
Derek, go ahead. Take over.
All right. Yeah, let me try to put us back on track here. So I'm taking Burrows. Kansas City coming to Cincinnati. That's a great matchup for them. Fields, he's a stud. And if you go back into the archives, I was plugging him when he was trash. And I'm
Still trash.
not too proud to say, he actually did better than I thought, but he grew on me. But he falls on that shoulder, that off shoulder one time when he's doing one of his rushes, or he gets hit or sacked or something, and he could be out in the first quarter. There's just too much uncertainty there. This would be a tough question for me if he was fully healthy. I'd probably go Fields. Half PPR. Figure he's going to get at least 80 yards rushing and probably a rushing touchdown. But there's just too much uncertainty there for me. And Burrows, with that matchup with the Chiefs, hosting the Chiefs, I like him over 300 yards today. So I'm going Burrows.
That's kind of what I said.
Sky?
Yeah, I agree with Derek. In a normal circumstance with everybody fully healthy, it might be more of a conversation, but it's not even close to what Burrow has to work with in regards to weapons. Plus, I don't think we even mentioned that Chase is coming back. And the last two games here that the Chiefs and Bengals have played in the playoffs and last year have been absolute shootouts, 30, 40 points. I expect that again with or without Joe Mixon. I think Joe Burrow is going to be fine. Last week, he had a down week versus Tennessee, who's actually quite okay against the pass, and you can run all over him. So he only had one touchdown. Before that, he was the overall number one quarterback 3 times out of the last 6 weeks. He's also the most accurate quarterback, according to Pro Football Focus, this season. So I think he shreds up on the Chiefs. It's a shootout. I love Justin Fields in general, as I'm not a Packers fan. However, coming in not 100% in a must-win game, if they still have them in Green Bay, I think it's going to be tough for him.
And no Darnell Mooney, no Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, tough.
Don't worry about it. When he rushes for 150 yards, you're not going to care if he has Darnell Mooney to throw to. It's Justin Fields. Always play Justin Fields. He's a fantasy difference maker. I don't care what all these three guys say.
All right, I'm gonna start writing some of these down. Some of these need to be
Justin Fields,
justified,
folks. All right, so listen, Justin Fields. Listen, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, this guy rushes the ball for like 100 yards every goddamn week. Honestly, I am.
You don't think he'll be gun shy with an injury?
Don't care.
Hey,
okay.
Bobby.
Don't care.
Bobby, why don't you run for 125 yards? Boom.
Honestly, I'm emotionally running for 125 yards, dealing with you guys this morning. All right, so I don't want to hear it. All right, Lindorphins, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you, fellas. And by the way, Lindorphins, don't be fooled by the pink icon here. He is a handsome fella. And honestly, he says debatable. We don't think it's debatable. We know you're handsome, brother. We love you every second of it, brother. All right. Brian, thanks, everyone. Good luck. Honestly, we wish you nothing but the best. Honestly, Sky's burner account joins the show. Sky Empire. Sky, go ahead. Sit one. AJ Brown. We're sitting one, folks. As a reminder, you're sitting one. We're assuming it's a full PPR. AJ Brown, DK, Debo, and Travis Etienne. Sky, kicking down to you. First, Scott, by the way, can you take over for a minute? I need to jump off for a second.
You got it, buddy. Debo Samuel, pretty easily for me. I did it last week. Everybody laughed me off the show, and that's totally fine. You can go back and check the stats. Debo's not healthy. He's playing this week because it's a big game, and we need him as minimum as a decoy and to take a couple of carries. But you can go look at it. Without those two massive 75-yard Debo Samuel runs, he is not Debo Samuel, and that's fine. We don't need him to be. And the Niners are going to be just fine today, I think, without Debo Samuel. So AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and Travis Etienne, I'm pretty confident on that. Derek?
Yeah, trust the guy in the San Francisco hat when he's, saying that Debo's hurt and he's not going to be a factor. I agree. Debo is the one I sit here. That's, I'm hoping Etienne, they say he's good to go, and I hope he is, and I hope he gets plenty of work. He's got a pretty good matchup there. Both Brown and DK, there's some pros and cons to them as well. But of the four, it's an easy Debo sit for me.
Same for me. And in fact, I'll go out on, even further. I'll take one step further. I would love to watch the Jacksonville-Detroit game today. I wish that was on my TV today. I think it's either going to be 9-3 or it's going to be, 45-42. And I'd pay to see maybe I wouldn't pay to see it, but I would like to watch that game. So I'm going the same thing, right? I think it's Debo, but Sky Empire, right, exactly. Sky, the guy sitting on the TV here, probably needs to make sure that Travis is a full go. Even if he's a 3-quarter go, or even if he's in, I think he's starting. But that would be my only hesitation. But a dinged up Travis Etienne right now appears to be better than a dinged up Debo. So I loop back all the way to I agree with my counterparts here.
Yep, and this is kind of a cop-out here, but you can look all the way up until game time this afternoon. There's still a chance that Christian McCaffrey sits in this game. I don't see it happening. I mean, I know you guys know I'm a Niner homer. It's totally fine. I think this is literally potentially a Super Bowl preview. I'm going to say that right now. Dolphins are playing very well in the AFC. Niners are playing well in the NFC. They're the same team, same coaching staff, same style. I think it's going to be a great game here, and there is a chance that Christian McCaffrey is limited or not going to play at all. If he doesn't play, you fire up Debo because Debo will be CMC at that point, and my boy Jordan Mason gets a chance. But if not, all things considered, I would sit Debo Samuel. Bob, you want to jump in on this before we get going here? Sit one, AJ Brown, DK, Debo, and Travis Etienne, full PPR. Matt will come back.
Am I allowed to say no, or is that like a thing? Okay,
Matt,
cool.
you have something else?
Yeah. So we'll act like Bob's not even in the quad, right? We're still in the triple box. First things first. I love it. First thing first, I want to go back up a couple comments. Look what Brian did. Brian took the extra step and said half PPR, even though we were talking about quarterbacks. That's the kind of people we like on the show. Take the extra step, tell us the league setup, and move on. Now, with that, I'm still Bob's answer is he's going to sit Debo.
You think so? I honestly don't know. How has DK Metcalf done against the Rams? I know the Rams are a complete mess right now, but like their secondary still intact at least. Do we have any numbers?
Seattle wants to go punch the Rams in the face. Seattle's so tired of the Rams right now.
How about Geno Smith? Honestly,
and they have a chance to do it.
What a sweet year for that dude. He's been awesome. They haven't played him this year. Let's see what 2021 looks like for DK.
And while Bobby's looking for that, Sky, go back about 3 weeks, check the tape. One of your quad mates here said San Francisco is going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, that guy has two thumbs.
Man, I've been saying that since '87, bro. So I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah, I'd be okay. I'm okay sitting Debo. He's dealing with an injury right now too. He could be somewhat limited in this game too. DK last year against the Rams, 6 for 52 and 5 for 98 and 2. So he's got
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he had a far inferior quarterback last year though. So Dude, what are you gonna?
It is wild. Listen, I had this weird thing about Geno Smith like a long time ago. Like I thought Geno got a bad rap. He played with like Rex Ryan and like the Jets, where the Jets, by the way, their number one receiver was like I don't even remember his name. He was a slot guy. He had no one. Like I mean, embarrassing.
Wayne Corbett?
No, it was like
it wasn't like, that far.
No, it was God, I forget the kid's name. It was a slot receiver only, and I can't remember a name off the top of my head. Let me try to see if I can find him real quick.
Braxton Berrios?
No.
Corey Davis?
Jeremy
Curley.
Nice. Jeremy Curley was his number one receiver. Like, I don't give a shit who you are. Patrick Mahomes ain't doing shit with Jeremy Curley as his number one receiver.
I bet you he is.
Give Dante Culpepper Jeremy Curley.
He an MVP. I'll tell you that much. But I think that's a whole thing. But anyway, let's just move on. Debo Samuel's my say. I'm okay to sit him. Go ahead.
Derek, going back to the fields or we go Dak Prescott, 4 points. So the rushing obviously gets elevated here.
Yeah, so it really just comes down to, do you think Fields is going to rush 1 or 2 touchdowns today, or are you still a little concerned about his shoulder? Otherwise, you're going Dak. For me, I'm playing it safe. I'm going Dak.
Matt?
It's never Fields.
Dak. Bob?
Nuts. Do not sit Justin Fields. He's a loophole. He is a loophole. Play Justin Fields. And by the way, the Packers defense, no offense, has been terrible. They're going to be Darnell Savage is out. The loss
Sean Gary.
Yeah, he's out. I know Campbell's coming back potentially this week, but I don't give a shit. This is going to be a fun game. By the way, Aaron Rodgers is going to light up the Bears this week. He's going to light them up like a Christmas tree, which means, by the way, that the Bears are going to have to put up points, and I love Justin Fields. Let's go.
All right. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott as well. Love me some Justin Fields, but I'm a little bit worried that he's going to be a bit gun shy. And even if he does get running, I think he's going to look to go out of bounds or look to slide, not look to dive head first, which he has a tendency to do, maybe especially around the goal line because of that shoulder.
So
Brady.
we're classy on this show. We would never wish an injury on any player. So I'll just stop my comment there.
Perfect. Well
Let me
done.
just add real quick for Dak, 25 red zone passes since he came back from injury. 25. Cowboys move the ball.
Does Fields have any?
How about them Cowboys, Bobby?
That's right.
Wow, dude. I can't wait. Go ahead. No, it's fine. Track it. Write it down.
Higbee or Taysom, and then Mariota or Daniel Jones. Bob will go with you. Higbee or Taysom Hill, Mariota or Daniel Jones. We don't have league settings. Let's just go half PPR, and we'll go 6-point scoring for quarterbacks.
Brady, give us those league settings, my brother. We love you to death. We appreciate you coming on, by the way. Join us. We're going to be here Sunday because we have nothing better to do.
Brady's been on quite a bit, so I'm going to give him a pass. I'm going to give him a pass here.
I deep down love spending time with these gentlemen and talking football. It's a great time. Yeah, so here's the thing. So when I actually wrote an article this week about the John Wolford week 10 performance against and Tyler Higbee had 8 targets, led the team in targets that week. And the thing that's different than Bryce Perkins is that he actually ran a bunch of routes that week. No Allen Robinson, no Cooper Kupp. Give me Tyler Higbee. Are we answering the tight end first, or are we doing both at one time?
Just do both.
Jeez. Oh, man, that's a lot of info. We have Marcus Mariota going up against – what's the matchup? So let's see. Giants are playing who? We got Giants.
Pittsburgh for Atlanta.
Atlanta is playing Pittsburgh. Ooh, that's both. Those are both disgusting matchups.
Pittsburgh is the current number 1 worst team against wide receivers.
Yeah, your Giants are playing the Commanders.
But we're talking about quarterbacks.
Who the hell's going to throw it to him, Bob? Himself?
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it right now. I'm out. I'm out of that.
Bob's going rogue.
Sky, I'm about to sign off. If you don't reprimand him right now, I'm about to sign off.
Don't you dare. All right.
There needs to be. You need to look up the definition of inclusion, diversity, and inclusion. My opinion matters.
That's not even. You're the definition of not diversity and inclusion, right? So whatever.
Never Fields. Hashtag never Fields.
No. Anyway, I'm gonna go Mariota.
All right, Derek.
Well, I was hoping you'd come to me last on this one. So yeah, Higbee was not targeted at all last week. We talked about the Rams offense. It's a great matchup, but there's just nothing there. Taysom, he's a boomer bust. What can you do? That's a tough one. For me, I'm probably going to take Higbee as much as I don't want to. I'm going to probably take Higbee because I expect some kind of floor. You just don't know what you're going to get from Taysom. He might get you 2 points and be done, or he might get you 18. But with Higbee, you're expecting at least a little bit of a floor there. So I'm probably going to go Higbee for that reason. For those quarterbacks, I like Jones better than Mariota, period. Commanders are playing well. Giants are not. But, Jones does rush the ball. And so I'm gonna go with Jones and hope he gives me at least 1 rushing touchdown and some yards as well. Whereas Mariota, he might have a good matchup, but I just don't care for what his ceiling's pretty low, and I just don't I don't trust him. So Jones and Higbee for me.
Matt?
Higbee for me, easy call, even though he had 0 targets last week. The Commanders are playing really, really, really well. But more importantly, because I can be the guy at the staff meeting that kisses the current boss's ass, I'm going with Mariota.
Yeah, smart.
Not you, Bob. You are down in the bottom. You're the bottom right quad. Sky is the boss right now.
Damn it! I feel
God.
you know what? I didn't get the memo that I lost my title. But I'm okay with Sky being.
Man, what's the new thing going around? It's the silent quitting or the silent whatever. Quiet quitting. There it is. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I guarantee you know I'm about to do that at work with what I've told you that's going on.
Jesus, man, I'll tell you, our Secret Santa here on Razzball is going to be very interesting this year. Very, very interesting. All right, I'm going to go Tyler Higbee pretty easily as well. Yes, it was a dud last week. KC shut them down. Their solid defense. Seattle's a decent defense as well, but Wolford is going to be hyper targeting. There's nobody else in that offense anymore except for Kyron Williams, and I just don't see them featuring him or being successful doing it. Also, you play the matchups, right? Seattle Seahawks giving up the second most receiving yards to the tight end, and they're 27th against tight ends in general this year. So I do like Tyler Higbee to bounce back with at least the volume, and at tight end outside of 2 or 3 guys, you're looking for boom bust anyway. Taysom Hill just doesn't have a full role. Could he score 3 random touchdowns and piss everybody off? Of course. He does that every couple of weeks. I just don't see it happening against Tampa Bay. Very good defense there, obviously. So I do like Higbee, and I'm going to go with Mariota. Of course, A, I'm a homer. B, I just think it's a better matchup against Pittsburgh in a must-win game for Atlanta. And I know that's true for the Giants as well, but I think that they'll be able to run and gun a little bit more, and I think Mariota is going to have to be the focal point of that entire offense. Okay, let's move on here, boys. We are a handful of minutes behind. We got a number of questions to get to, and I want to make sure we crush these out in the next 30 minutes. Let's get going a little bit quicker here. Jefferson 23, if I haven't seen you and everybody else has, good morning. Always here on the Sunday mornings. Pleasure and appreciate your always the don't worry, be hoppy. Got me thinking about alcohol at 9 a.m., which isn't healthy, but I do appreciate a good sud on occasion. What's in the coffee cup, Bob? Look at you cheersing. Look at him just double IPA in the coffee cup, pretending it's
not coffee. I'll tell you that much, folks.
it's not okay. We don't
actually the only person the person actually knows is Matt. Matt, what's it called again? We don't call it Russian. What's it called again?
No, that is an Anglo-Eastern European drink.
Oh, wow. Nice. All right. I love it.
Back to you, Sky Galasco.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. Back live here on the Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube show. Make sure everybody's subscribing, of course. So many viewers, so many listeners. We're almost to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 by the end of the season. Also follow the podcast, download, rate, and review if you have not yet as you're on the go. I listened to about 8 episodes last week, catching up, doing a little yard work. Felt fantastic. All right, here we go. Morning, gents. Half PPR, 2-part question. Dude, Jefferson just lays it right out there for you. Love it. All right, here we go. Jefferson. I have ETN at Detroit, even got the matchups. I mean, this is grade A questioning, folks.
Dude, Jefferson
I have ETN at Detroit as my RB2, but concerned about his playing time. Fair, coming off the injury. I currently have Pollard versus Indianapolis as my flex, so I can move him to RB2 spot. So it looks like you're looking to play him here. I'm not 100% sure what the actual question is.
There is no question.
Yeah, I think you're just maybe. Well, it says 2-part question.
No. Go down.
There is no question.
Go down.
Go down 2.
Go down. There's 2. Go down 2.
I apologize. Didn't see the second one come in. Thanks, guys. Okay, so in my flex position, we got Juju at Cincinnati, Brian Robinson versus the Giants, Kyron Williams at Seattle. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's read this again here. So you got ETN and Pollard. Essentially, you also have Juju, Robinson, and Kyron Williams. All right, so let's set the running backs and let's set a flex. Half PPR. Matt, we'll go to you first.
No, you love the fact that this is one of those where I don't want any accountability. But I think we all agree with a thumbs up from 4 of us that Kyron is a sit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we've all decided that. So he's out. I like Juju and the fact that they're going to have to throw, but I mean, that's going to be Kelsey first, I think. Not I think, I pretty much know. Derek this morning, was it this morning or late last night, one of the two, he talked me into Brian Robinson. I kind of dig the matchup and the way he's been running the football. And, I mean, let's be honest. Nobody here likes the Giants. Moving on real quick. What? Never Fields.
We can pretend like Sky runs the show, but God damn it, I do. I will bury all of you, all right?
I already got paid. I already got my November paycheck, so I'm all right. I think for me, I probably stick with ETN and Pollard, but I'd sure like to know I mean, it was a Zeke week last week. Am I right? Was it last week or the week before?
Yes, it was.
Right? Pollard went bananas,
Halloween.
and then it was Zeke.
Thanksgiving.
Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
So maybe it's Pollard, but if Jefferson doesn't feel comfortable about Pollard, I would flex to Robinson, followed by Pollard, followed by Juju.
Derek?
Yeah, I'm okay with sticking with ETN and Pollard as he has it right now. My only diversion would be, as Matt kind of pointed out, we're not sure yet if Antonio Gibson is playing. If he's out,
he is. I just double checked, Derek. He is officially active.
Okay. So I do like Brian Robinson in the scenario that Gibson was out for sure. That puts a little more uncertainty on it. So in that case, I would stick with ETN and Pollard and stay away from and keep those other options on your bench.
Bob?
All right. So when I run the numbers, Pollard and Robinson are right next to each other. So it really comes down to like
Ahead of ETN?
Oh, ETN's in.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting ETN. ETN's a stud. By the way, the foot scare, it sounded like that the Jags just took it real conservative with him last week. He's in always. I think it really comes down to Robinson versus Pollard. I know Elliott. I know that the Dallas Cowboys are obsessed with Elliott to a point where they're going to give him most of the work, and Pollard's going to go back to this weird like hybrid role that he's been playing. But Robinson also splits work with Gibson. I get that. The Giants are terrible against the run. They're horrible against the run. My gut tells me go Brian Robinson. So I'm going to go Brian Robinson over Pollard as my flex.
Yeah, I'm with you. I slightly lead, and I think this is a good one outside of Kyron Williams. I think you're safe with any of the other four guys, to be honest with you. Obviously, anybody could pop a little bit more than somebody else, depending on touchdowns or whatever. But looking at matchups and you're looking at opportunity, let's just focus on Juju for a second. We haven't really talked about him in this scenario. I'm going to go with the running backs. It's half PPR. I usually lend that way. Juju was on fire before that concussion. And then he got hurt, and he came back slightly. Then he came back again. He's had minimal targets. He hasn't had a Juju game since he got healthy coming back. Could be this week. The Bengals are, again, a shootout with Cincinnati, but shouldn't be the same, or they haven't been the same without Chudi Awuzie in the secondary there. So that could be big for Juju, although I'm not going to count on it because he hasn't trended that way recently. So I also like Brian Robinson a nudge over Pollard. Only because they are hyper-focused on Zeke again, and he has looked okay. And then ETN, you're right. If ETN's healthy enough to play against Detroit, I like it. So Pollard could have a 70-yard touchdown any week, but on volume, I like Brian Robinson being the number one for Washington and ETN as well. All right, Lindorfin's coming back here, and I apologize if any of this stuff is redundant, guys, as far as answers. We're a little bit behind here. All right, any concerns about Fields playing, being used differently? Half shoulder hamstring. I know it's gross, but I wanted to, but I also stashed Watson. I've seen some ranks throw him ahead of Fields. So here's the deal. If you guys haven't talked about Watson yet, we have to talk about it. He plays football until he doesn't play football. You can morally cut him off your team, not play him, do whatever you want. That's fine. The reality is somebody in your league is most likely playing him. And on the football field, he has been amazing. So you can do what you want with Deshaun Watson. The reality is if you're making a decision in fantasy football between him and somebody else, we do have to talk about it. Unfortunately, we can opt out if we want to, but it's part of football for now, unfortunately. Bob, I'm going to go to you at this one. We've talked about Fields quite a bit. I don't know about going around the horn here, but you always start Fields. Actually, hold on. We're not going to go to Bob. You always start Fields.
What?
Matt never starts Fields. Derek might be the only level head here on this particular question, potentially. Derek, I'll go to you here. Fields or Watson first game back in 2 years?
First of all, let's change that sentence. Might be is not the correct term. I am the only level-headed.
There you go.
Here.
That
being said,
my God. I had to get out so many fines. Monday's gonna be a rough day for all of you. Honestly, that's it. I've made down some fines.
I've been a Fields detractor so far today, but today I'm going with this question. I'm going with him for sure. You know, Watson, he is a talent. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't played since 2020. You know, what do we expect? Do we expect him just to come out and be what he was before? No, there's no way. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it next week on the show that I was wrong, but I'm staying away from Watson. You know, again, you play a couple games in the preseason, and he looked awful in the preseason, if I remember correctly. And so why are we expecting him just to come out against Houston? Yeah, okay, it's a revenge game, so be it. Why are we expecting him to come out and just be a stud again, or be a league winner? I just don't see it. He might be good in a few weeks, but I'm staying away from him today.
Yeah, I'll take Fields in this particular matchup. We'll see how it goes moving forward. And I'm not telling you to start him, but we've been waiting all season for a Kareem Hunt game. Nick Chubb might get tired after 46 carries today. Kareem Hunt might have the fourth quarter. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on that one there.
Okay.
Bob, go ahead.
Jalen Hurts just last week ran for 157 yards against the Packers.
Change the record.
Are you fucking serious right now? Are we all being crazy right now? Like, seriously, the Packers defense is decimated by injuries, and Aaron Rodgers is going to light them up today. Justin Fields is going to say, I'm going to have to do the same. I'm telling you right now, Jalen Hurts last week threw for 153 yards. Oh, but don't worry about it. He rushed for 157. Please start Justin Fields. You're going to be fine. The dude, before his injury 2 weeks ago, had like 20-plus fantasy points in the first half. Stop it. Stop it with the Justin. Justin Fields is my sweet angel baby boy. I love him to death. Start Justin Fields.
Bob. It's 9:12 a.m. on the West Coast. You're shouting.
I'm shouting. I've been shouting since 8 a.m. I was shouting before the show. I was shouting watching the France game, World Cup. I don't want to hear it.
All right.
You were shouting 35 minutes before Sky showed up. Remember?
I do. I don't remember anything at this point. I'm
and
drinking a bunch of like Anglo-Saxon drinks. I don't even know what they are.
I'm gonna go. I want to answer Lindorfin's question.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Mike White next.
Wow.
I do love Mike White this week, by the way. I have him in my DFS lineup.
Isaac Melendez. 12-team full PPR, pick one wide receiver and a flex. Joshua Palmer, Mike Williams is out once again. Deontay Johnson or Kareem Hunt. Or is Van Jefferson worth picking up and playing? So you got the dark horse Van Jefferson. I love that kid so much. He's not going to have an opportunity until he leaves the Rams. Josh Palmer, Deontay Johnson, Kareem Hunt, full PPR, pick one flex and one wide receiver. So let's pick two out of this group here. Derek, we'll go to you.
Yeah, just scratch that last sentence off. Van Jefferson, he's not. You're not considering him today, so just take him off the list. Kareem Hunt has a great matchup, but we're at a full PPR. We expect this to be a Chubb game, so just process elimination. Palmer and Johnson are my picks.
Matt, same
exact analysis for me.
Yeah, I gave a quick shout out for Kareem Hunt, but again, I'm not looking to start him on that. I just feel like Houston could be run all over, and Nick Chubb might just get plenty of work ahead of time, and Kareem Hunt might have a little cleanup duty. So, like in a DFS or something like that, or you just have a dart throw flex or something like that, you can maybe slot him in. But I would go with Deontay Johnson and Palmer as well, especially in a full PPR league. Bob, quickly, Palmer, Deontay Johnson, Hunt, Jefferson, pick two.
Palmer and Deontay.
All right, let's move on here. Joe, Tua, Matt,
Joe,
Bob,
Joe,
Derek.
Yeah, love the wide receivers for Miami today, but I'm going Joe here.
Same. Go Niners. Newton X, Najee, Latavius Murray. Derek.
Najee.
Bob.
Najee.
Derek. Or Matt, sorry.
Najee.
I don't
love it, but Najee.
PPR if it matters. All right, I'm going to go Najee Harris as well. Lindorphins, just didn't see the earlier Fields question, just saw that. Okay, thoughts, no problem. Laura and Jim, good morning. Add flex here. Lazard, Hasty, DeAndre Carter, DJ Chark. So a lot of moving parts here. This is a flex question. I like this. Lazard, unfortunately, has not been Lazard the last 3 weeks. I think we all think that'll change this week here. JaMychal Hasty accidentally caught a wheel route last week to make me happy as my former 49er. Gets a touchdown. DeAndre Carter's been nice, but he's like the Keenan Allen Phil, not the Mike Williams Phil. It's Josh Palmer. And then DJ Chark coming out of injury here for the Lions lately. So a lot of moving parts here. Bob, we'll go to you first.
Al Lazard.
Matt?
Lazard. But if I may, I want to know, are we talking to Laura or Jim?
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. And
I'm going to say it's.
I think when the women come and check into this podcast, they should identify themselves and immediately go to the front of the line.
I wonder if Laura and Jim, I wonder if Laura, they share the account. Jim jumps on for football and stuff, and Laura does like shopping, or is it like a unique situation where Laura's all in on sports?
This is Laura. It's her league. Laura she owns the team. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
I think I'm going to guess here. It's Jim's work league. Jim doesn't know what he's doing. Laura runs the team. Like, I think that's like that's what's going on here. Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm okay with Lazard, but I actually probably lean Shark here.
Oh my
God.
I just love that matchup. Matt had mentioned too. That's the game to watch this week, and I could, that could easily be a 45 to 39 game, and if that's the case, then Shark's going to get at least one touchdown, if not two. So I would lean Shark just because of the matchup.
So I came in a little bit late. I've been listening to the episodes. I know that I know Bob's been a Lazard super fan since the preseason. I am too. Love the kid. Matt is too unbiased for my actual knowledge here on this one. Can I get the sell on Lazard this year? I was a little late to the program this morning. Broken thumb for Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, the number one wide receiver there. Why are we going Lazard here, Bob?
So first of all, this whole conversation about Aaron Rodgers, they want to shut him down potentially. They're like, all right, as soon as we're eliminated, we're going to shut you down. Aaron Rodgers is a back-to-back MVP, and he wants to make sure that he is justified in everything this guy does. He wants to make sure that he still gets a reason to play. He owns the Bears, number one. Number two, Romeo Doubs is out this week. It's going to be him. It's going to be Lazard and Watson. And by the way, Lazard's getting the targets. He's not getting the touchdowns. All going to Watson. This specific question, like, listen, you can say what you want about Shark, but, like, he hasn't done it yet on paper. We're not really 100% sure. I do love DeAndre Carter this week as well as a sleeper. But, like, I just think Lazard's due. Like, he's getting the targets, hasn't found the end zone. Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. And by the way, the Bears are down a starting cornerback and both starting safeties in this game. He's going to throw some deep balls. He's going to get it done. And I think Lazard's going to find the end zone.
Week 2, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 13 yards, but he did catch a touchdown. Quick question, asking for myself. Zay Jones, Juju, or Alan Lazard? I got to start 2 of them. Derek, we'll go to you first. Half PPR.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Zay Jones, Juju, and Lazard, half PPR. Zay Jones, 10 targets, 14 targets, 11 for 145 and a touchdown last week against the Lions in what should be a shootout.
Yeah. Zay Jones, Juju, or
Lazard.
I will go. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Juju and Lazard.
Okay. I've been drilling all week. Bob, Lazard, and?
Zay and Lazard.
Matt?
The only reason I go Zay is because of the game script. Otherwise, I would go Lazard and Lazard.
And he's playing Detroit.
So Matt, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. Start Lazard and just leave the other slot empty and then have Lazard score enough points to just cover both slots. Is that what you're suggesting?
Or just put him in your wide receiver 2 and your flex.
Okay, got it. All right. So just play him twice is what you're recommending. Okay.
But if your league settings don't allow that, go with Zay Jones.
All right, fair. I appreciate the disclaimer. All right, Detox. Detox has got a couple of them here. I'll read the first one, and then we'll go down the list here. PPR, pick 2, Tyler Boyd, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper. Bob, we'll start with you on this one.
Cooper's in. Love Cooper. Houston's going to be down. Derek Singletary. Derek. What's his name? Derek Single something, whatever.
Derek Stingley Jr.
Stingley Jr. Yeah, he's going to be out this week. So I like Cooper a lot.
Swampson, Swampsonite.
I'm going to go Tyler. Deontay, huh? Shit.
It says it right there on the suitcase guy.
Oh, I was way off.
I don't know. So the problem I have with Boyd on paper makes sense. It's he against Kansas City, high volume game. But like last year when I was high on Boyd, I was all Scott. You guys weren't around.
100%.
Matt, you guys weren't around. I was my two. Sky only brings up that I love Tyler Boyd, but he won't bring up the fact that I loved Cooper Kupp. I said my player of the my must-have wide receiver was Cooper Kupp. Sure, it's literally on a video.
Who doesn't love Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, 2 years ago, I said my must-have players were Cooper Kupp and Tyler Boyd at the receiver position. Skyline brings up Tyler Boyd. The problem with Tyler Boyd is when Chase and Higgins are together, he runs these stupid freaking routes where he runs from the slot and just runs an out route. He's like this check down player. Deontay, Amari Cooper.
Man, I feel like Bob. I feel like you're like borderline, like a little bit angry this morning. I wonder, is it too hot in San Diego right now for you? Like, what's
it's the problem. The problem is, Sky, you never gave me credit for a Cooper Kupp 2 years ago. I hate it.
Man, that's why we're off the rails this morning. Like, I'll send you an extra Christmas card if you need to. Like,
Sky, an extra Christmas. You never sent me one. I want one. Send me a Christmas card. That's it. If you do not send me a Christmas card, I'm done with you.
Deal. Derek, Boyd, Johnson, Cooper. Pick two.
Yeah, I'm going Cooper as well. And it comes down to Boyd and Deontay. So Boyd has 4 touchdowns on the season, which is 4 more than Deontay.
Oh, man.
So I'm going Boyd.
Matt?
I'm going to sit Boyd, and I almost threw up with listening to Bob argue about Tyler Boyd. It almost made – I got confused and dizzy. I agree with you. I'm sitting Boyd. I need it to be Cooper. And I think it'll be Deontay. Deontay may go the whole season without a touchdown, but we'll see what those small hands can do today against Atlanta.
By the way, Deontay is like he gets like 10 targets a week, but he scores like 6 fantasy points somehow. It makes no fucking sense.
Fire.
So
yeah, he's due. I think he has. He's gonna have 7. So if Tyler Boyd doesn't break an 88-yard slant to the house, I think it'll be trouble. So I'm going to go Deontay and Cooper in full PPR. Detox has another couple of them here. Pick one, Dak at home versus Indy. Matt Ryan in the same game at Dallas. Jared Goff at home versus Jacksonville. Matt?
Yeah, give me all the Goff you have in that football game.
Love it. Matt. Bob?
Really? Huh?
The right answer is Dak, but I want Goff.
I think I'm going to take the upset of Goff. Let's do it.
Okay. Derek?
Yeah, Goff is my quarterback pick of the week. All his playmakers back at home.
Is it in a dome? It's home?
At home,
right.
yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm all in on Goff this week. In fact, I even picked him up in my home league for that reason.
There are a few quarterbacks in the NFL where the home road actually matters. Like Ben Roethlisberger was one of those during his career. Drew Brees was one of those guys in his career. Jared Goff is definitely that guy too. Derek Carr also at home with Jacksonville. Again, with all the weapons healthy right now, I do think they're okay. My only concern with Jared Goff ever is that Jamal Williams has 3 rushing touchdowns, which can happen. Otherwise, I'll take Goff. Yes, Bob?
He has thrown for at least 2 touchdowns or 300 yards in every home game this year.
Yeah, he's boss. Grew up in my hometown, too. All right, let's go. Detox got one more here. Pick 1, Daniel Jones. So this is a different league.
What's up?
Daniel Jones.
We already answered this exact question, didn't we?
We did, but let's do it again. Not for the same person, just in case he didn't catch it earlier. Daniel Jones or Marcus Mariota? Derek?
I picked Jones before. I'm sticking with him. I'm going with Jones.
Bob has no idea who he picked. I think it's when he spilled coffee on himself.
First of all,
it's not coffee, Matt.
Matt, I'm going to tell you something right now. Keep it up, okay? Keep it up. See, the problem with Matt is he's very established in his position. He knows. I sent him a text earlier this week, and I care about him. He knows I care about him now. This is the problem. Matt knows I care now, and he's taking advantage of that. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, so I'm gonna go Mariota still. I'm actually thinking Commanders might be my start of the week on defense, to be honest with you.
Ooh, interesting. Commanders start of the week on defense. All right, I'm going to go with Mariota here. I'm a homer there as well. Matt, would you like to chime in here?
Yeah. So two things: Mariota, and I turned off my camera so I could get Bob closer to the top.
Love that. See, that's a team player. That's somebody willing to just risk it. Oh my God! Now we're gonna. All right, here we go. Jesus. What is it? What is it like the monkeys running the zoo? Is that what it's called? Anyway,
let's do it.
All right, here we go. Mihai, I hope I am pronouncing that correctly for you. All right. Also, you added down here. I see that as well. And not sure if we've done starts of the week yet, boys. If we did, I was late to that, so I can get onto it. Otherwise, we probably should shortly here. We are caught up on questions. Half PPR, pick one. Daniel Bellinger. Haven't heard that name in a long time. Harrison Bryant filling in for David Njoku, who is out for the Browns this week. First game with Deshaun Watson, of course. Pick one. Wide receiver or running back, Mike Boone, Richie James, or Justin. And mentioned down here that is Justin Watson. Pick one DB. All right, so we got a IDP question here that we'll get into in just a second. So multiple pieces here. Let's go one by one and try to crank this out a little bit. And then Mike F is back with another question. So, looks like I actually skipped that one as well. Sorry, Mike. I'll get back to you in just 1 second. All right, so let's go one by one here. Derek, we'll go with you first. Half PPR, pick one, Bellinger or Harrison Bryant?
Well, yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go Bellinger. I know you guys are, Bobby in particular. You're high. You're gonna stream your Washington defense is gonna be your play this week. I actually like the Giants today. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I mentioned Brian Robinson. I'm high on him too, but I like the Giants today overall, and I could see Bellinger in the end zone. So I'm going to go Bellinger.
Matt?
Yeah, I like Bellinger too.
Bob?
Harrison Bryant. There's like three defenses you don't touch with tight ends. It's the Saints, the Commanders, and the 49ers.
Yep, I agree. Bucks are really good too. I'm going to go with Harrison Bryant also. They don't hyper target the tight end position there per se, but Deshaun Watson as a player does and has throughout his career. I like that. And the problem with the Browns is they usually have three-headed monsters.
Oh yeah, you're right. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I got it. I got it.
You're right.
No problem. No, I got it. It's fine.
That's not
I
me.
got it. No, I got it. It's all right. It's no worries. I got it. It's usually a three-headed monster.
I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Deshaun Watson. I'm like, oh shit, the guy plays for Cleveland now. You're right. That's on me.
It's usually a three-headed monster, but now we're trimming the fat, and I think Harrison Bryant has an opportunity. Now, with both these guys, you're hoping for a touchdown, right? This is a classic Robert Tonyan game where it's either 3 for 33 or it's 3 for 33 and a touchdown in the tight end position that moves you from tight end 25 to tight end 10. So hopefully that works out here. Let's keep moving down the line here. Pick one wide receiver. So basically a flex position here. Before we get to the DST, Mike Boone, and this is half PPR. Mike Boone, Richie James, or Justin Watson. Matt, will go with you.
Give me the garbage time PPR machine that is Richie James Jr., former 49er player. Never feels.
Yes, sir. Derek?
Wow, this was tough. Yeah, I'm gonna go James as well.
Bob?
So the Commanders are a slough funnel defense. That's good. Really? I fucked that up. I thought they weren't. Okay. Yeah, Richie James. That's a solid play. Actually.
Do you need me to go back through all the questions real quick? If you want to change your Commanders take, or are you good on that?
No. I actually do think the Commanders are. I'm deciding between Pittsburgh defense, the Commanders defense, and I forget the third one. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know which streamer defense I want this week for my leagues, but
you want Washington.
I do want Washington. I do. You're right.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. Like I really do want Washington.
What's weird about that?
The Russian roulette defense of the week. Derek and I have talked about it. Hope you're sitting down.
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the third one. Tampa Bay, Seattle. Tampa Bay, Seattle.
Seattle.
Tampa Bay, Seattle.
Seattle.
Commanders, Pittsburgh. Those are
Dude,
my
Seattle versus the Lambs. I'd even take the Bucks versus the Aints. I mean, it's if you have those two, I would go with them too. The weird thing about the Commanders to watch for this week, boys, because we do this again in 2 more weeks. The Commanders and Giants play today. They also play in 2 weeks. So any trends and whatever we have going on here, just monitor those, and they might pop in 2 weeks as well.
By the way, kids, can we talk about? No one talks about Justin Watson, but like
nobody wants to.
Yeah, I understand, but this guy plays a ridiculous role. He led the team in routes last week. Like, I understand he didn't do shit with them, but now he's got all right. So Kansas City's playing Cincinnati.
But you lead this podcast in routes today. What's the fucking ROI on it?
Honestly, Matt, I'm going to tell you something right now, Matt.
I'm
the engine that runs this fucking
Holy
company,
crap,
right, my friend.
Holy crap!
But Cincinnati has become, because of the injury to Chobia, become an out wide funnel defense, and this guy runs a bunch of out. He led the team in out wide. Are we not going to talk about Justin Watson as a sleeper this week? I mean,
you can pick him.
I'm sure. No, I mean, all right, I'm going to go Justin Watson over Richie James.
I appreciate the inclusion. I'm going to go Richie James. Okay, let's go back to Mike here. Mike, very unprofessional. I got wrapped up in this incredible chaos this morning, and I skipped your question a few back. That's on me. Taking accountability here. I apologize.
Thank you.
Unlike Russell Wilson, I'm going to put the weight on my shoulders here. I look to lead the squad here when it's my turn, and I let you down. I apologize. Mike
roll.
F. Sutton, Pacheco, flex PPR, Adams, Pickens, Juju, wide receiver, Swift, and Jacobs at running back. So are you asking to pick anybody? Oh, okay. So you're just looking for this flex here. Sutton or Pacheco? Derek?
Yeah, Sutton's got a good matchup, but it is the Denver offense. And although we established the Denver offense is better than the Rams offense, that's probably where we end that conversation. So I'm going to go Pacheco here. The game script, he's been getting more work in the offense, and he's got the talent. So I'm going to go Pacheco here between the two.
Matt?
I like Pacheco as well, right? We don't need to talk about the Denver offense again, except to say Jerry Jeudy is back full go, which is going to eat into some of Sutton's productivity, if we can even use that word, right? And then, so I like Pacheco again. I think he's the better of the two players right now. I think Sutton over the long term is probably the better player. And at the end of that, I'll go Pacheco, and then let's let Bob cook. Right, he's up.
Love it, Bob. I'll go Pacheco. Pretty easy for me.
Yeah, maybe we come back to Bob.
No, I'm just all right. So first of all, Baltimore has getting healthier. Their defense is like the emerging defense in health, and just on the surface, they seem like they're getting better, but like they are getting torched on the outside to wide receivers. Pacheco just got lucky. It seems. By the way, every time they get to the red zone, they throw a inside shovel pass to Noah Gray instead of throwing it to Pacheco.
Anybody on fantasy?
Yeah, it's just obnoxious. Kansas City's the most obnoxious team ever.
So you're saying they don't throw it to Justin Watson in the red zone? Is that what I heard?
Justin Watson's a terrible call, but I don't care. Yeah, I'm fine with Pacheco, I guess. It's just like, I don't know. If Sutton should get it done this week. I mean, like 70% of the fantasy points over the last 6 weeks allowed by Baltimore is out wide. Like, if he cannot get it done against this, and listen, Marcus Peters is like a solid corner, but like he's not healthy and he's getting torched still. So, Jesus, Sutton, get it together.
Derek?
Yeah, so before we move on, it's really kind of picking up what Bobby's talking about there. If we can go back one. Are we anyone playing Sutton over Pickens or Juju?
In
this matchup?
I was looking through the
Pickens.
rest of this, and no, I'm going to go. Pickens is the number one with Pickett, in my opinion.
Well,
You start Adams, obviously. You're
I'd
playing
probably
Swift and
start
Jacobs.
I start Sutton over Juju.
I can consider that. I would just rather have pieces of that Chiefs-Bengals game.
You want Justin Watson in that game?
I already have Justin Watson's is already.
But
in
like
me.
we can't. So Juju last week was getting introduced back to the offense. He's coming off an injury, so his numbers are suppressed. But has anybody heard a report that Juju's full go? Like, is he going to get the full snaps this week? Because like this, if you look at the routes last week, he was behind Watson. He was behind Marcus Valdez-Scantling. He ran 21 routes last week on like 40-plus dropbacks from Patrick Mahomes. Like 50% of dropbacks is not going to give you a bunch of production. He had 3 for 38. So my question is, if Juju's playing full, then yes, I'm in on Juju. Because, I mean, Cincinnati without Chidobe Awuzie has been bad. And Joe Burrow is going to be able to put up points. But I don't know. Do you guys know? Has anybody heard a thing? Matt, you're holding up a what? Go ahead.
He's completely off the injury report for what was called an illness. That tells me that Yahoo's not obviously the end-all, do-all, but that says to me he's as close to a full go as you're going to hear.
Yeah, and I would also say, the game script last week, the way that played out, they could afford to give him a little extra rest, with the Chiefs going up early. So I wouldn't necessarily say his workload last week was directly related to the concussion. It's probably more related to a mix of that and the score of the game. They were allowing him to get healthy.
Now I'll go Juju and Pickens.
All right, here we go. Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, PPR. Bob?
Najee.
Matt?
So we established that Gibson's out.
No, Gibson's playing. Gibson's active.
Playing.
Oh, Gibson's playing. Then it's Najee for me.
Well, we haven't done the injury report yet because Sky is just killing this whole vibe right now.
You're welcome. Derek?
Yeah, Najee for me for that reason. I'd probably lean Brian Robinson if Gibson was out, but I'll go with Najee.
Yeah, Najee had a quote this week, basically like he had a rib issue last week that kind of brought him out, and then we had 4 other Steelers come in, and Benny Snell had a nice game, whatever. Najee basically came out this week, said, I could have gone back in the game, but didn't need to. Steelers are kind of washed this year, want to stay healthy. He should get the full complement of snaps this week. I like that a lot. I like Brian Robinson a ton. I just think the kid's super talented. He's the number one there, but I do like Najee going up against the Falcons, who just can't stop anybody. Jefferson, giving a shout out, the best show of the season.
Wow.
Bob. So I just want to throw this out there. This is not my call. I'm talking upstream here, but you're over here just dictating fines left and right. Mm-hmm. Jefferson is maybe recommending a holiday bonus to the team. I don't know if I'm reading between the lines here correctly, but looks like maybe there's like extra incentive here because it's all look, hey, we're one of the largest networks, obviously, right? Like the ratings go up, people get paid. That's how it goes, Bob. I'll let you handle that. Jefferson, thank you very much.
I'm not gonna lie. I was actually planning on texting all of you guys to get your addresses. I want to get you guys
sure. Now he is
swag.
Now he is.
But now that you're being disrespectful, Sky, I don't think I'm gonna do any of that. So
God damn it. All right, Lindorphins is back. We got 2 more questions here, then we got to set some rosters ourselves. Lindorphins coming back for one more here. Commanders also get their bye in between the Giants. Very good. So I was going to say that as well. I meant to say that earlier. Face out brutal schedule for my G-men. Oh, Lindorphins also Giants fan. Right on. There we go. As the season gets crunched. So yes, you're totally right. So the Commanders also have that bye week. So they play the Giants Giants again. So that'll be very interesting there. Caden, the Colts fan. Not sure who Caden roots for, but let's go with Traylon Burks or Nico Collins, both divisional rivals to the Colts. This is a team player here playing fantasy even against his own guys. Derek, we'll go to you. Let's go half PPR. I know Caden's been in before, but I don't remember the league settings. Let's go half PPR. Traylon Burks, Nico Collins.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks is out today. Nico Collins actually one of my wide receiver picks for the day.
Same.
I'm not worried about the quarterback situation there. Quarterback 26 for 39 for 215 versus Miami. So I'm not worried about that. Nico Collins for me.
Matt?
Let's be honest. Brandon Cooks has been out all season. Nico Collins has been okay. Burks, he's against Philadelphia, yes?
Yeah.
Tennessee against Philly. Is that the matchup?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Give me the half point PPR Nico Collins as well.
Bob?
Okay. So the one thing about the Cleveland Browns is that they've been banged up at the corner, right? So they didn't have Ward for a long time. They lost Newsome for a long time. Now they're both healthy. And last week, Mike Evans goes 2 for 9. He catches 2 passes on 9 targets because Ward is like one of the very few cornerbacks that actually shadows top wide receivers.
He's amazing.
My overthink player of the week is Nico Collins.
Me too.
So
You sure it's not Justin Watson?
No, Matt, it's not. I just told you it's Nico Collins.
Hey Sky, if you have your phone there, can you Google what angry drunk looks like?
No, I'm gonna Google someone who's never gonna be on the show again. All right, that's what I'm gonna Google. All right.
Yeah, her name's Keelan.
Yeah. Oh, ow, Keelan. Shout out to Keelan. Honestly, we haven't seen her in forever. That hurts. So listen, here's my thought process. Like on paper, the numbers say that Nico Collins is actually a really good play this week. But when you actually take a step back and look at that, the Browns cornerbacks are healthy finally, that it's not that easy anymore. Like Burks has a terrible matchup. Like you have the Eagles corner. Eagles, by the way, are injured. They have no Maddox is out, their slot corner, and also CJ Gardner-Johnson, who was their backup slot corner, is out. So they can get beat in the middle. But on the perimeter where Burks mostly plays, that's fucking Slay, and that's James Bradbury. So I would say Nico. I'm gonna say Nico. Trust the numbers. But like, I don't know, man. Like my problem is like Ward is different. He's a game changer and he's healthy. And last week, Mike Evans, we all on this show talked about Mike Evans having this great matchup against Cleveland, but he did nothing because, so I'm going to go Nico, but at the same time, like I'm not all in on it. I'm really not. So,
Hey, Bob, who let James Bradbury walk?
The Giants did.
I just wanted to hear it.
I can't wait to watch Jordan Love start the last 6 weeks for you. Okay, I can't wait.
All right, boys, it's getting personal. Let's wrap up here. Latavius Murray, Jamal Williams, Derek, bring some sense back to the program, please. Latavius Murray, Jamal Williams. Again, we'll go. We'll split the difference at half PPR here.
Yeah, I want that Lions Jags game. I'll take Jamal Williams. Expect at least one rushing touchdown.
I hope it comes to the hype. That should be a fun game there, Matt.
Jamal Williams, and I don't want to talk to Bob for 2 minutes.
Deal. Bob?
Actually, that's reasonable. I accept that. Because if he said forever, I'd be like, oh, okay, this guy's being a douchebag. But 2 minutes is reasonable, Matt. I accept that. So 2 minute break's actually not too bad. Yeah, it's Jamal. You're gonna jam with Jamal. Just do it.
Yeah, jam with Jamal as well. Have you guys done starts of the week yet? You want to do that? We got 2 minutes. I got to set my lineup.
Dude, I have so many. We haven't done anything, by the way. This whole show has gone rogue. We haven't even gone over injuries at all in today's show.
What's the deal? Is Mixon out on Yahoo? He's still questionable.
He's still questionable. He's doubtful. But he sounds like he's out.
I was asking somebody else.
I have 1,000. Oh shit, you're right. 2 minutes. We were in that window. We're in the 2 minute window, and I answered
penalty
the
box.
question. Honestly, that's terrible. All right, so listen, we have a bunch of injuries, but honestly, when I'm going through all these injuries, obviously Darnell Mooney being out and all this stuff, and talking about some of this stuff, Eddie Jackson, Kyler Gordon. I think a lot of people don't realize that the Bears secondary is decimated. Matt, I know you're not talking to me, but right now, you got to feel pretty good about starting your Packers this week. You got multiple guys out. Is Aaron Rodgers in your lineups this week? Is Christian Watson and Alan Lazard? Talk to me about some Packers stuff.
Matt, talk to me about Packer stuff.
Matt is out.
All right, Sky, yeah, I'm starting Lazard and the 2 running backs, but I'm not starting Rodgers. I don't own Watson, but I would start him if I had him. So really it's Lazard at the top, Jones, followed by Dillon, followed by Watson, but I'm not starting Rodgers.
Joe Mixon is a long shot to play. Samaje Perine just got a 10-point bump in projections. Looks like he is not going to play there. My only concern with Lazard, and Matt, I'll bring this back to you. The reason I bring up Lazard is I could just see this being an Aaron Jones dump down game with limited access with the thumb. That's my only concern with Rodgers there, and that could take a little bit away from the volume.
Now remember, right? Rodgers is petty.
Oh yeah, I agree with all that.
He wants to do something to prove that his thumb's okay. He can fight through the ribs. This just grabs me as one of those fuck you games from Aaron Rodgers. He may have the rushing touchdown where it should be Dillon, right? He may want to pop off at the crowd one more time. To me, I think he wants to chuck the ball all day today. Now, that's probably very similar to Bob's, whoever he said earlier was going to be his player of the week that was going to shit the bed. I can't remember who that was a couple hours ago. But Rodgers, it may be Lazard gets 3 for 33, like a tight end. But I'm starting him. I think this is revenge tour for Rodgers, and he's just so petty. It's comical. He's gross.
He is
never feels.
He's gonna dominate.
I got a personal question, boys. I need some help here. It just got weird with Samaje Perine coming back in. I'm worried about Alvin Kamara. Let me throw this at you. Half PPR. Personal question to end the show here for me. Jeff Wilson against my Niners, who dominate running backs. Isaiah Pacheco, who should be fun, but you can never trust the Chiefs necessarily. Samaje Perine, who just got the bump, or Alvin Kamara against the Buccaneers, who has not been Alvin Kamara. I can start 3 of them.
Oh, Jesus.
Perine is for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
I think sitting Pacheco Wilson and Kamara.
Yeah, I'm sitting Wilson.
Okay, so we all feel good about. I agree. I think the Dolphins. The only chance the Dolphins have to beat the Niners is going to be air raid, and I think they do that too.
And I believe Mostert's a full go-to, which hurts Jeff Wilson, right?
I agree. I'm just worried about the Bucs are just so good against Niners or running backs in general. Kamara's not been Kamara. I don't trust the offense. This is in Tampa, and obviously the Saints need this win here. It just something smells bad about Kamara. It's bothering me. So you guys are going basically. You're going Pacheco, Kamara, Perine, sit Wilson. Unanimous?
Yes.
Because I need my non-Wilson, mindset here that helps.
All right. Okay. Who's your start of the week, Sky? One off the radar name, not in most lineups.
Yeah. I'll just give this is tough. I think both these guys are in most lineups, but I want to give some street credit to Terry McLaurin. But I won't go too deep into that because he's an auto start, I'm sure, for most people. But Devonta Smith, I don't think is getting enough love lately. He did have a down week last week. I think a lot of people are benching him. But he has been absolutely on fire overall over the last month. And I do want to make sure that Devonta Smith gets a little bit more love against the Titans defense that can get shredded. Obviously, all the revenge game and all that's going to go to A.J. Brown. I think they're going to look to extra shut him down. So, which I don't know if you can do that, but I think they're going to hyper target him. Therefore, Devonta Smith should have some more space.
All right, Bob, who's your off the radar start of the week?
Honestly, man, I'm just excited that we're talking again. Honestly, I miss you.
It's been 4 minutes. So
2 minutes was too long.
It was a double minor.
You know what's funny? I didn't realize how much I cared about you until you ignored me for 2 minutes. Honestly, this has been good for us. Honestly, you're going to get a great Christmas present. I love it. You're getting a bonus. Anyway.
I don't want one unless everybody gets one.
No, honestly,
team player.
I don't even Derek, Derek did a great job on the show. Actually,
yeah, Derek needs a raise just for
by the way,
being
honestly,
insane.
Rest of season, I got a show with Sky and Derek lined up. Matt, should we get a show lined up? You want to get a show together? Honestly, I think on this show, we have a couple of people watching right now. I have a show with Sky and a show with Derek lined up. What about you, man? You want to line up a show rest of season?
Yeah, why don't we call it Neverfields? I'll show up early.
Dude, honestly, I can't wait. Honestly, Justin Fields, if he does not finish as a top 12 quarterback, I will succeed.
Matt,
he will.
Matt,
anyway,
more fantasy points today, Matt. Justin Watson or Justin Fields? Who you got?
Fields.
Okay, fair.
Anyway, Gus Edwards, I would say, is one of the guys I really like against Denver. I think the Denver Broncos are a team that can't score points, and Gus Edwards will be involved heavily. No J.K. Dobbins this week still, so I think Gus Edwards will be the main guy, and I really like Gus Edwards a lot this week.
Deal.
Derek, who's your under the radar?
Yeah. Foster Moreau.
Nice.
Chargers give up the most targets to tight ends in the league.
The island of Moreau.
And by the way, we
Moreau.
have that information on Razzball.com. We do have defensive fantasy targets allowed by position. By the way, no one does that. I think it's one of the most underrated aspects of our site is that we have a fantasy data tab that has a bunch of data. Like, by the way, go check it out. Defensive NFL targets allowed by team. You don't get that information isn't available around.
How much does that cost?
Honestly, $0.
Whoa.
And I'm honestly
That's
zero.
a deal.
And it's just like technically Arizona allows the most tight end targets to defenses, but yeah, it's a whole thing.
Well, Arizona's not playing. That's why.
You're right.
So you don't have to worry about them.
Honestly, Derek is so handsome. I love every second of it. You're right.
All right,
You're right,
last question. I'm going to dip off. We got 9 minutes for lineups, and I got to somehow regather myself before I watch 7 minutes.
Can I get my start of the week?
Oh, Matt,
No.
I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Marvin Jones.
Love it.
Jr.
Love it. MJJ. It's my man. I love it. Hey, last one here. CeeDee Lamb, Travis Etienne, full PPR. Derek?
CeeDee Lamb.
Bob?
Travis.
Matt?
I don't want it. I'm not going to answer that one.
Deal. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb as well. Detox league question. Do your leagues have conferences or any unique about your league? Anything you want as commissioner? Let's dive into this deeper next week. I do like this question a lot, and there's a lot to get into, but I feel like we're going to end up rolling 20 minutes on this question. A lot of cool stuff here. Detox, join us next week. I will just tell you, I'm in half and half leagues. Most of the leagues I commish, I have eliminated conferences. That's just my preference. We'll get to everybody else later on. So I don't do that, but we'll get to everybody else next week. Appreciate you. Bob, sign us off. I got to go.
No, that's it, man. Honestly, I was just going to say that, like, honestly, forget about conferences, but also you should also factor in points. We do 2 games a week in our thing. So honestly, you should have points for every single week. The top half of your league gets a win, and then also the people fit head to head. So I think that's the key.
And fab for waivers. Fab
for waivers is also key. But I'm telling you right now, the points for is the best change I've made in all the leagues I was commissioner in. It's been fantastic because the best teams always make it. You're not going to deal with like being second in points, but you miss the playoffs. You're never going to have that problem anymore. So trust me on that. Once again, I'm your host, Bobby Lamarco. Honestly, follow me at Bobby Lamarco on Twitter. Make sure you follow the Razzball Fantasy on YouTube, IG, and TikTok. And, of course, make sure you go to Razzball.com. I want to thank all my co-hosts today. Sky Gawasco. You can follow him at Sky Gawasco Instagram. Matthew Styles at Styles08. And, of course, with Derek at Derek_Favorite on Twitter. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We appreciate you. We are pretty much out of here, folks.